Hold on, what was I doing before?
Nobody really knows.
I think that's it.
I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, we'll just go with it.
I would think.
Go with it. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we always screw up, so
Yeah.
why change things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, welcome to IoT Coffee Talk.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's
Hey, Omar, what's up, man? Yeah, we have a special guest, Omar. You want to introduce yourself really quick?
yeah. My name's Omar. I see you guys all on social media, and so I feel like I'm kind of I'm among some celebrities over here. What can I say? But
Celebrities, guys. Oh
At
my
least
God.
Rob
Can
is.
you believe that? Yeah, I think. Yeah, Rob's the only celebrity, man. So yeah, welcome.
I've been kicking around this space since 2017, so about 5 years, and
Great.
work with a couple companies. One's called Litmus, and another company is called HighByte. And so I'm more on the sales side, but and business development, which is interesting because you kind of have to. You're approaching it from a different kind of point of view a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to be able to talk at technical concepts, but you have to be able to say, "Hey, I'm in sales. I'm not gonna." And you have to kind of keep in the know of what's going on.
Yeah.
And, but a big part of my job is just talking to people, talking to manufacturing folks, and I would say probably spoken to over 1,000 manufacturing companies.
Wow.
Wow, that's a lot.
So, yeah, so it's it's an interesting time, right? I think the most important thing is like, how do we actually do something? How do we how do we try to do some small things, make things happen, learn from them, move on? And I think that's the challenge because all these companies have so much political bureaucracy and they have so much
Dirty laundry.
yeah, and people you don't know what motivates certain people, and then like the procurement component, it's like if you're trying to sell into pharma or biotech, they have their own challenges, which is take a year to get signed up as a vendor, and it's like so it's not easy, but it's kind of where destiny is taking me. So
wonderful. Yeah, fighting.
What a nugget in the first 5 minutes of the episode. Right? Politics, misaligned interests, and red tape at companies. I mean, yes.
There you go.
Yes, you are in the right place, sir.
Yeah, and you know what's even worse is those processes are even longer and more involved when you're dealing with you're dealing with or proposing critical applications and critical solutions, right? So because there's this whole thing called trust, which we talk about all the time.
What does HighByte do? Tell me about that for a second.
Yeah. So HighByte is a really, really awesome company. I'm not just saying that. They're based in Portland, Maine. There's 3 co-founders. All 3 of the co-founders originally worked at Kepware, and Kepware, you can find Kepware, and I don't know, probably 80% of manufacturing companies use it. I mean, that's just a statistic I sort of made up, but it's a pretty big percentage. And Kepware is famous for the device drivers, connecting to the different types of PLCs. And then the folks, these 3 folks who created HighByte, they basically just saw a new problem emerging. Kind of Kepler was a bit of an industry 3.0 type of problem, but there was a new problem emerging, which was you got all these different systems. You got a manufacturing company might have like 20 different software applications. What's the best way to kind of move data around, give it structure, give it meaning? And that's what HighByte's basically in the business of doing, really.
Didn't we talk about unified namespace last week?
This is what triggered it, right? Mark asked, and I plugged, HighByte came top of mind. Yeah. So now, Omar, you are in the IoT Coffee Talk, where we talk about connecting things. And something that I shared with you when we chatted last week, and it's going to be a softball, don't worry.
Hey, man.
from an
Start with the
IoT.
softball, move
No, seriously. Look, we're just.
You do that kind of stuff on the show, softballs?
Yes.
You gotta be kidding me, dude.
Yes. So
yeah,
then
start with T-ball, and then we can
I give him a softball, and then Rob gives him 102 mile per hour right into the ribs. So just it's okay.
All right.
But look, so we talk a lot about connectivity and machine to machine connectivity, but in our world of IP based connections, that is basically doing things like MQTT or CoAP, which is I'm trying to make this machine talk to a cloud. That is a very different connectivity conversation that you have, where you're talking about a serial connection from a PLC to an HMI, which is also connectivity. So in the context of the connectivity and the systems to systems challenges that HighByte solves for, what do you see the most? Like, what's the problem you're the most excited about when it comes to connecting disparate systems that you hear from manufacturers? Because I want to see if you get beat up for different things than the traditional IoT folks get beat up on.
Yeah, so like I have basically, I've kind of developed a unique point of view, which is probably different, maybe even from folks that I would say it's just a unique point of view, and I try to understand it from a business problem type of way, as I mentioned, sort of my background, and basically the way I see it is that there's like little as you mentioned, you use the word nugget, right? There's little nuggets of important information in all these different systems. So maybe you have some database, another sort of some server, another application. There may be little nuggets of information in these different systems which are important to solving a problem, to solving a specific business problem. But the thing is, you need to be able to have a good mechanism to bring these little nuggets from these different systems together into one structure to be able to tell a story. And when we say, so what HighByte does is basically it's a data payload. Really, at the end of the day, it's a packet of data. It's extremely useful. It's not the sexiest thing. It's not a dashboard. It's a packet of information. But that packet of information is used to tell a story and solve a specific problem. And I think that's sort of what I'm seeing is important, is being able to tell a story with information. And and I think so our largest enterprise customer did a quote, which I thought was really cool. And he said, HighByte is like a surgical approach to solving a problem. Like, if you're in a surgery and you have you have a scalpel, we have this. We're like one of those things. We're not every single tool and when you're using to make a surgery, but it's a specific tool to solve a specific problem. So
you're not bringing a sledgehammer and just swapping out Ethernet ports to get the data out? No. Oh
no. Yeah, that's not what we're doing. Yeah, and it's just interesting to have these conversations with different folks. And
surgical stuff is important, man.
So it's just so basically what you're saying is the biggest problem right now is that as all of these manufacturing systems have evolved, there's just these gaps in data. There's no holistic view. And so what you guys, is that like the number one challenge that you guys are tackling? It's just really providing that middleware or that brokering of data to get these types of these views so that you can start telling stories? Is that like what you're...
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I see that's pretty spot on, really.
Yeah. But not the dashboarding stuff, right? I mean, so you guys are basically just like that plumbing piece, that brokering plumbing piece, right? Maybe not even the plumbing stuff. It's just middleware.
Yeah, it's just so
middleware.
Company XYZ is like, I want to try to solve this particular problem, and I have all these different systems, and HighByte lets you connect these systems and say, there's some important information here. There's some important information here. Yeah. Let's put that into one sort of payload structure, and then let's send it out. So you can send it to directly to the cloud, send it to Azure, AWS. Yeah. The concept of a unified namespace is it's kind of this term and this almost like this philosophy which has kind of emerged, where it's this one, and it was, I think, I'm not sure if it was coined by Walker Reynolds, but him and his team talked about it a lot. But it's basically this centralized location, which is usually an MQTT broker, where everybody can publish and subscribe to different information. It's like this, and I think it's still evolving. I think people are still trying to understand if it's like a philosophy or it's like a real tangible thing. And maybe some people don't even need it, but maybe some folks do. So,
it's funny. Cool.
Yeah, I mean,
as Omar describes this, is like the language you're using is so OT specific. Like I think I don't know that IT gives you too many meetings, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, it's
because,
tough.
Some of us IoT folk, we want to talk to the business, and the business is IT, because IT doesn't call OT the business. That's ops over there.
Right, and then there's a lot of folks that are saying, well, IT and OT are kind of coming together. This is really where also two sets of semantics and views on technological evolution are coming together, and there are disconnects, right? Because I can easily see a CIO just listening to this stuff going, oh my God, dudes, we've been doing this forever. We've been doing it 30 years ago, Crossworld, Vitria, all these old school brokerage and middleware business process modeling tools. They've been around for decades, and so, I could definitely see them kind of going, okay, well, this sounds super familiar, and they're also, they've also been dealing with legacy infrastructure that's probably on a much faster obsolescence cycle than what you see in OT. And so I think those may be those types of things that IoT folks need to adjust to, right, as they're talking to this different audience that actually is probably more advanced in certain ways in terms of, compute architectures and, their ideas of, just where technology is going, and but may not fully appreciate the requirements on the OT side. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think that translation has been really difficult from what I've noticed.
You nailed it. I couldn't agree more, and it's tough. It's a tough conversation, right? Because it's funny because you're right. The IT folks will probably really understand the value proposition, but they're, I think that maybe they think about things a little bit differently. They think, security. How is this going to, how is this going to impact what we have already? And I think that, being able to kind of have those conversations. You're right, though. We speak mostly to either OT folks or like the ones who are kind of digital transformation, innovation, the kind of people who are in charge of this kind of middle space. But I would love to speak to IT people and just learn from them too.
Yeah.
If I'm buying something from HighByte, what am I buying? What am I acquiring? What are you selling exactly?
It's a piece of software. It's
software.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it similar to what the guys were doing at Kepware? Ish.
I think it's. I would say it's different. But I think that they learned a lot of really good stuff from there and from Kepware and just the wealth of knowledge. But it's a software, and it typically runs just locally. What we're seeing so far, either in Windows or in Docker.
Yeah.
And I think things will, as we have more conversations, as we get more customers, we're a young company. The story will emerge, I think, But when you're a young company and you're a startup, it's just learning. It's like we're just learning every day. We're just learning we're learning more about how people deploy it. If you want to have one HighByte in a central, or you want to have like distributed type of environments, and there's learning, I think, along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, positioning is always a really tough thing, coming up with that narrative and then positioning and then making sure that people understand what you guys do. Especially like going back to what we were talking about before, when you're looking at new audiences, right? When there's stakeholdership is different from what you're used to or who you're used to dealing with. I think that's one of the reasons why last week we were talking about why digital transformation projects fail. Something like 84% of them fail.
Yeah, I think I saw your LinkedIn post about that.
Yeah, then IoT 75%, right? And so this is like kind of become like this mantra in the industry, in the IoT community, and it's like we're messing up, right? I don't know if a lot of people want to admit it, but I mean, I brought up this whole thing where, if we're doing these self-assessments, we're giving ourselves basically an F-. I mean, geez, it's super hard to fail 25% of the time. In my consulting career, if I failed that many times, I wouldn't have been in the industry as long as I was, right? And so my question really to the industry is, why do you guys fail so much? Why do we fail so much? And I think a lot of it is attributed to not being able to lead the conversation, lead the conversation into these new spaces that we're banking on and investing in, and it's tough. I think a lot of us thought that it was going to be easy, and we're discovering that this is really, really hard. And, I talk to a lot of startups. And, I listen to them and I sometimes wonder, okay, have you done your homework? You know what I'm saying? I think there's like a basic set of homework that needs to be done before you, start to put together your business plan or your business concept and, around this product idea that you might have, And so, yeah, dude, you have a tough job. And I think you posted, there's a lot of sales bashing out there. And I responded by saying, well, some of it is justified if you're going around and not building relationships with people, getting to know who you're trying to sell to, then it's just super annoying, right? But if you've kind of developed a mature value proposition for what you're selling, then that becomes less annoying. But, I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done to build these relationships, trust with these new audiences. And if it's the IT organization you're trying to influence, then, that's tough. It's a lot of work, and man, you're in the crucible, man. You're gonna be learning a lot. So
yeah, I mean, cool. Think about the amount of software vendors which IT folks have to speak to. I mean, I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
Thousands?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And no doubt about it, sales is tough, dude. And people get jaded. I was listening in. I listened to, it was like now that people are doing those LinkedIn live things. And I listened to one of those yesterday, and there was a guy talking about digital twins. And it became really apparent to me that he just had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. But the other people who are in the audience and kind of the hosts, they're just like, yeah, wow. And I listened to him. I listened to him give the same pitch, the same M2M condition monitoring pitch that was then the IoT condition monitoring pitch. And now he says, now we can do it because we have digital twins. And it was like, I could have just taken out what he was talking about and put it in a different time frame, and it was the same talk track. But now he was saying, now that we have digital twins, we can finally do condition monitoring on your machines.
Wow.
And it's all you can do to contain yourself. And yet all the sheep listening to this guy were like, whoa, amazing. Yeah. Wow, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
And so it's bizarro, man. And
this guy, I think on next week's version, it will just be the metaverse. Which, by the way, Omar, if you say that HighByte is solving for the metaverse, your sales will just quadruple.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know what the metaverse. I mean, I haven't done enough research to even know what it is.
You don't bother. You're fine.
No, your funnel, the top part of your funnel will fill up, but then when you get down to the bottom, it's going to be super skinny or non-existent, and your company will go out of business. And
we can just say, we have a few use cases in the metaverse. We got a couple customers dabbling.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Are you serious?
He just made that up.
I made that up.
Yeah. Well, it's like I just love that chief digital officer at Microsoft. You know, the Microsoft Cloud is going to power the metaverse, and Teams is going to be your view into the metaverse. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, that's really self-serving, dude. Good luck with that.
I'm using Skype for the metaverse all day.
Yeah.
There you go.
But you know what the irony about all this metaverse stuff that the big guys are touting. I mean, metaverse is supposed to be anti them. You know what I'm saying? It's about democratizing things and decentralizing power in the.
Whoa! I think you're creeping over into Web3. We're not talking about Web3, all you sheep out there that somehow think that crypto and Web3 and the metaverse are all the same.
Oh, but they squish it together. They squish it together, though.
Squish that stuff together.
You're going to de-squish it?
Yeah, and get some fat financing down at Andreessen Horowitz, baby. Sequoia is coming to talk to us because we mashed that shit together and woo!
Oh, yeah.
And we got Kepware connectors just in case. And HoloLens. It'll work with Magic Leap or HoloLens or Oculus. Take your pick, Yeah, good times. Pick your own avatar.
Man.
Yeah.
Industry 6.0.
Yeah.
I think so much is driven by there's just a hype machine out there.
Oh no! Yeah,
and the hype machine is about driving mania, raising money, sales around an idea, getting people to believe the hype, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that whole FOMO thing, we got to have that, or we're done."
Yeah.
All those ridiculous analysts, like people on here, well, if you don't jump on this bandwagon, you'll be left behind. They always say that stuff.
Yeah, the NFT thing is another story too, eh?
Yes. I know. Well, I can hardly wait till the two of us are in the metaverse selling NFTs to each other. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Wait till the bots take over and just start, transacting with each other, and it just to drive up the price, because that would never happen.
Yeah, never.
Bots are important. Proxies and bots.
Yeah.
Like when we use proxies and bots for a shoe drop, but there's only so many of the shoes dropping in the US. And so I got to have my proxy and bots buying them in Singapore so that I can get it on that day and then flip them. We're going to be doing the same stuff in the metaverse. Sure.
StockX member number 13 right here.
Yeah.
There you go. If it's either sneakers or rare whiskeys. So, take your pick.
Yeah.
There it is.
There's black markets for everything.
Yeah, that whole idea of bots is kind of funny, because the way I look at it is just all automation, right? Automation applications. It's just,
Yeah.
Now they call it RPA and all this other.
Give it a name.
Yeah, but then when you really look at it, all it is they're just like program trading, right? I mean, that stuff has been around forever. It's just packaging that and then creating a new buzzword in the financial sector. It's like, oh wow, we have bots doing this and that, and it's like, well, those look like applications that run program trades, and
But
anyway.
Hopefully, when we're selling that new thing, we won't run into you, and we'll go to the guys who don't know any better and like, dude, we got bots. We're taking down Wall Street with our bots, man.
Yeah.
I got a call now. I got to.
Okay.
Yeah, jump. I'd like to jump on again. This was fun.
Yeah.
Good hanging out, dude.
Yeah.
For hanging out.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping on.
Good luck with your call. Make that sale.
Yeah. Make that sale. Come and share your war stories with our audience, because I think that's what it's all about, because everyone's trying to figure this stuff out. You know what I'm saying?
Scars, don't worry. I can share some.
Good.
Bro.
Awesome, bro.
That means you're learning.
Thank you.
I started from, headset. I'm telling you, every call was recorded. I started in the boot camp, so I'll definitely share some.
Wonderful. Yeah. Great character. Awesome. All right. Take care, Omar.
Adios.
Rob, I think to sweeten the offer of the bots, we also give them Roombas as part of the sale, right? Like we got the bots and the cleaning bots.
I think that's huge, dude. That is awesome.
That way we can full procurement on a monthly recurring charge that no one ever questions.
That's really what the whole game is fooling procurement. That's really all it is. They don't keep them guessing, and keep them paying.
Yeah. It's like programmatic buyers.
Yes.
You can do that as well. You can just create like a agent to basically do those were called replenishment orders that you just set up in Oracle or SAP.
Yes. And the things the things that we call bots
triggered off
today, we called them agents in the past. They were
it's just and it's funny because I do look at ERP systems and the whole ERP space and how these back office technologies are software technologies are evolving, and it's like this stuff is like this new stuff that stuff that people say is new is like this is actually pretty old stuff, So I think the newer generation just forgets that we've been doing the old stuff for a long time. We're just maybe abstracting it an additional layer and then maybe adding a little bit of AI intelligence to optimize certain things. But optimization is like, it has diminishing returns, right? I mean, it's that whole 7 Sigma, right? Without AI, we can achieve 6 Sigma. AI takes us to 7 Sigma, but how valuable is that, and how much does that cost?
You're trying too hard, man. The secret is you wait for the guys who did this stuff already to retire, and then you get the new guys who've never heard of this shit.
Yeah,
and then
resell it. Call it something else.
You're making a joke out of it,
and then create a new maturity curve.
It works. It's funny with agents. At some point, with e-commerce and limited edition things being sold over the internet, where you had to be on this digital queue, someone just went, "I'm not gonna wait with my 2 computers. Let me write some code, deploy some agents," and it took a while for the companies that thought. Let me back up here for a second, and I won't name brands, but companies that had that would do apparel drops in their in the distributed physical retail locations. There were a lot of issues where a location would get 100 SKUs of the thing in demand, but your line had 2,000 people around the New York City block, and that would create issues. First people were just disappointed. I wasn't first in line. Oh well, let me go home. Then people started getting robbed. Then people started, no, I am not making this thing up. It's we like to give background in Coffee Talk, right? So some of these brands said, you know what, let's do it online, right? We can we can still do the physical drops in much lower quantity so that people get, hey, there's 10 people in the line, just forget about it, but let's do it online. And that took off, and then you have the people taking advantage of it with an agent. Let me write so that it shows up that I'm in Singapore on this time zone, and I have the power of 1,000 computers, and I'm going to buy this right away. Yeah. PS5, ring a bell?
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah.
Right?
Scalping.
And now you have these companies, they've had to then figure out click here and tell me which one is a light bulb to make sure you're not a robot.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this is how we got this crap.
I mean, if you think about it, it's commercial hacking. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not hacking down at the technical level. You have a certain business model that you're putting out there, and people are compromising it and taking advantage of it in some way. It's like hacking, Yeah. And it's exploiting holes in your operating and delivery model or your supply chain or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like a different we don't call it hacking, but it is sort of hacking. It's like hacking in spirit, right? So
tinkering.
Yeah. So everyone, how am I looking today? So I'm now using my brand new MacBook Pro M1 Pro today.
Really? Brighter and clearer.
That the glow. I thought you went to a spa, but it's
I have done nothing. I'm just using what's right out of the box with the laptop.
Really?
And so this laptop, like your iPhone, has a notch on the top middle.
Uh-huh.
But one of the key things that I really liked about it is it's got a 1080p camera for doing these calls, which today is important. It used to be remember people just put crappy cameras on laptops.
You mean VGA stuff?
Yeah, like VGA stuff, or even most of them out there are still doing 720p. And so so this is doing 1080. Man, this Apple Silicon is rocking. The sound quality, the speakers, this thing it's nice. I'm liking it.
Oh, okay, cool. By the way, we're not sponsored by Apple. If anybody wants to know.
But,
Jesus. It's like the ultimate promotion for.
Yeah, but Tim Cook, if you want to slide some money my way, I might take it.
Yeah,
I might be okay with that.
And Rob, what I'm the most positively jealous about of your new machine is that you have no corporate software slowing the clock down to 30%.
That is so true. You're right.
That's always nice.
He's like, what the hell is going on? Oh my gosh.
I know. Isn't that a killer? You're right. I'm not going to name any names, but there was a company I worked for not too long ago, and it made the latest, Core i7 10th generation seem like a 386.
Yeah.
The IT load of all the bloat crap they put on there, all the monitoring, you look on there, it's like, why do you need 3 antivirus programs on here? And I mean, you're right. IT kills the performance of these laptops. They're almost useless. And so you're right. It's nice to have a shiny, new, fast, insanely fast. Man, this Apple Silicon is insane, dude.
Yeah.
I remember we had a coffee talk where we talked about after they launched that, and it was just like, watch out, Intel. This stuff is insane. I'm loving it. So far, so good.
Cool. Yeah. So I got a jam, gentlemen. I have to drive out.
Gentlemen.
Yeah. And
you're having pressure. Like you're going to go see people.
I'm going to see people. Yeah. Well, the cases are going down. It looks like this whole Omicron thing is starting to settle. We just have to wait for the next one. So, during this lull.
Are you guys back open again in California?
What do you mean?
No, I thought
I don't think we ever closed, really.
It's like, woo, California.
Yeah. No, I think things have opened up a little bit.
LA County is still doing masks inside. San Francisco and Marin, I believe, are the same.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know. I've got habits now. If I'm indoors, I have a mask. I'm not actually paying attention to it.
I don't care about the regulations and the guidance coming out of the CDC. It's like we just wear masks. It's just it makes.
I thought you were going to say the opposite. I don't care what the CDC tells me.
No, because they just kind of they waffle. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like just wear it because you don't know when the next variant is going to come and create havoc again. And you don't know when you're going to get it because you only know about the variant after it's spiked, and it's killed a ton of people.
I hope one day we look at a time like this and say, you know what? We're telling our grandkids, come here, Shani. Do you know that we spent 3 years without smelling bad breath because everyone had masks? Those were the days.
What are you talking about? You smell your own bad breath.
You don't smell somebody else's.
You're just,
You don't smell somebody else's. If Johnny had a ton of raw onions and comes to you,
dude, look at who you're talking to. Dude, I'm Korean. I eat kimchi, man. I have to suffer my own kimchi breath. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
The chemistry is different.
Can't believe you.
Also, before you shut us down, I just got to say, I love that halftime show at the Super Bowl. I thought that was awesome. Awesome.
You're so
love.
How they recreated Compton and everything there in the middle of the football field.
Yeah.
And I mean, Dr. Dre owns LA. And
oh yeah.
All that music, man, that's my generation.
That was pretty.
Absolutely.
It just seems like yesterday too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden we're like old men who love like gangster rap from the 90s.
But it's comforting to know that, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg are my contemporaries.
When the Chronic dropped, Snoop was 17. Okay.
Wow.
That was a long time ago. My man is pushing 50.
Wow. Yeah. Absolutely. I love.
We should have Snoop DOWGY on the show. Snoop, if you're listening, come light up with your new big lighter. Come light things up at the IoT.
We'll jump onto his little metaverse space.
Yeah, and I love Dr. Dre. Obviously sent out some love to Tupac. With Biggie, with California Love and a little piano.
That's New York.
That was good stuff. I mean, that I thought it was magical.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite halftimes I've ever seen. I think I really enjoyed it. Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool too. All right, so everyone, thanks for joining, listening to us. Up to this point, and we will see you next week. But before then, please like, share, do the regular stuff, and have a great week.
Stay safe, people.
Yep.
Adios.
Bye.